Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the podcast. I have with me another very special guest, an artist named Karina Mosser. How are you?
Good, thank you. I'm so glad to be with you here today.
Yeah, I'm glad that you accepted to appear on my podcast, on my show. And I was very intrigued by your kinds of paintings and what you do with the colors. The color scheme is very interesting. Also, the titles that you put to your art. So can you tell me a little bit about yourself before we start?
Yeah, I grew up in a family which was, I think my main influence was my dad. He wasn't an artist, he was a physicist, but he was one of the people with just, really amazing people with a variety of interests. And I mean, I guess you get educated, you go to college, but I think everything I know, whatever I am, I owe to my father because he loved music, he loved art, he loved books, and he just introduced me to everything. So I've been painting my entire life, like more focused on it and a little bit less depending on how busy I am. But in the past years, and I think it's mainly related to my daughter who finally grew up and lives on her own. I'm actually very, very like it's kind of my number one priority now. I also teach, but now I kind of more focused on my paintings. And while I do not have any, I do have a lot of college degrees, but I do not have a degree in painting.
Yeah,
So I'm pretty much, I would say, I've taken a few classes here and there, but mainly I'm pretty much self-taught. And what I'm doing now is think I developed a pretty unique style of blending. It's pretty minimalistic and maybe even monochromatic because it's like usually shade. Like what I do is like say take the blue, and it's usually like million shades of blue, like layers and layers of that color. And I do believe that once you're layering them and blending the way I do it, it's really kind of brings up the brilliance, solid colors that it's not just blue, it just starts to, interact with the other shades. And I just love doing it. I really do. And I guess people seem to appreciate the results of this.
Mm, yeah. So your artwork also comes with titles because, there are artists like Kandinsky that
Yeah,
would keep it like, the composition number one, number two, number 2000. But
exactly.
yeah, but your titles have a lot of impact and rigor, shall we say, to them, like The Little Prince, shall we say, Le Petit Prince, which is lovely, I think. And when you see the kind of the painting itself, you're kind of thinking about the Little Prince. So, do you think about the different influences and inspiration that you want, or the themes that you want to depict in your paintings? Do you think about that before you? Yeah.
It makes me really happy that you mentioned The Little Prince because that's a very big influence on me. It's actually my favorite book.
Mhm.
It's not kids' book, it's for all
Yeah.
of us adults. There's so much wisdom in that book. And I think what I'm trying to do, that's probably one of the main things for me, The Little Prince. What I'm trying to project with my art, just this kind of sense of peace and kindness, serenity. And I do think that we really all need it because the way, especially now, everybody life has turned upside down.
Yes.
We really need it. And I hear a lot of feedback from people who actually buy my art or just appreciate it. Like, just thank you for, giving us some peace and that kind of stuff. And that really warms my heart because I just think that art should be for people, you know, not just to give you some emotional support. I think that's what it's all about. And that's what the Little Prince is all about, you know. You need to be responsible for the ones you tamed,
Mm.
you know, like your friends and that kind of stuff. So, and I mean, I also kind of, I guess when it comes to my work, you know, it probably projects this simplicity. And I do truly believe in that because how much do we really need? You know what I mean? We already got all kinds of junk. So it just, I'm trying to kind of be more into that simplicity and minimalism and tranquility.
Mhm.
It's kind of soothing for the soul. So I don't know.
Yeah. The soul has a lot of different kind of facets to it, and the soul wants contrary things. But you also have something that is very interesting, a different type of art, which is dancing,
Oh,
specifically,
yeah.
yes, ballet.
But yeah.
Yes. So can you tell me a little bit about that kind of, mode of of
Yeah,
expression in
that's,
your life?
yeah. Because, you know, that's been kind of instilled in my soul since I think I started at age 5, you know. I grew up in Moscow. I mean, I live in US now. My husband is American, so, but I've been here for like 27 years. But I grew up in Moscow, and when I was little, I was admitted to the Bolshoi Theater Company, which I guess is a big honor, you know.
Yes.
And I think that really, I mean, I did not become a star, and I guess that I think about the time, you know, you graduate from high school, my father realized that, well, and in Russia, ballet training is really, really, I mean, you do it 24/7. I mean, there's nothing else you can do. I mean, very, very strict. So it's different in the US. In Russia, you just do it literally 24/7. So my dad said, okay, maybe that's good enough. And I went to college to study literature and all that kind of stuff. But I think it really made a big impact on me. Like, obviously, I'm an unfortunate perfectionist because, well, you're not allowed to make mistakes in ballet, you know? So, I mean, it's sometimes I finish my painting and I don't know, my husband says, all right, that's good, leave it. And I do leave it and then I come back 5 minutes later, oh, no, that's not good, I have to fix this. And I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm the only one seeing it, you know what I mean? But as long as I'm still seeing it, it just, I can't find any peace.
Yeah.
It's sometimes, I mean, I guess it's good and bad because it sometimes gets really annoying.
Yes.
Because it seems done and then there's just that little tiny thing, you know?
Mm.
And I just, okay, let's do it again. So it's, I guess, well, long term, it's probably good because you know, perfect yourself, but sometimes it gets really annoying. It seems like it's just done, just go, wash your brushes and go. And I just cannot do. And sometimes I wash the brushes and everything is back to relatively clean condition. And that's, oh, actually not. So there it goes. It's a kind of never ending process.
Yeah. Yeah. So you've mentioned that you're maybe an accidental perfectionist, or it's something that is obligatory. So you also mentioned that you're tired of looking all those kind of different beautiful sketches and the kind of the art and the paint that is so visual, and you want to minimalize it. You don't,
Yeah.
yeah, you don't want the abstract, even want the complete kind of pastiche of minimalism. So
Yeah. Yeah. I do love Kandinsky, you know what I mean? But I guess what I'm trying to do is just to kind of just take all the elements out of it, you know what I mean? And just, and I do, I mean, I don't know, I think, and I may be wrong, it's my personal opinion. I just think when you look at something without many elements, you kind of think, okay, what feeling does it give me, you know? And maybe some people may think they're seeing some mountains there, or other people may think it's something else. But I think it's kind of very thought-provoking. I don't know. That's kind of what I get out of it. Basically, you can see whatever you want in there. And I'm actually surprised that sometimes when I finish it, I ask my husband or my daughter, what do they see in that particular painting? And like, I mean, the reason I'm saying my husband or my daughter, because those are the two first people who are available to see it. And I'm surprised, well, how different the views are, you know what I mean? But as long as you get something out of it, I think that's my goal, you know?
Yeah.
You see the mountains, well, so be it.
Yeah. So would you like to continue on this path? Would you like to teach more? Would you like to try different methods of painting?
Well, I think I'm always, you know, up to any kind of challenge. And I, you know, I obviously, that's why kind of, you know, sometimes I do dances, or I have some paintings with flowers, you know, which is not my thing, but I'm always, you know, whenever, like sometimes, why not? But I think the main thing I really like is that kind of just color blending, you know. And I do love teaching. I really love it. I mean, it's obviously a more stable income than, you know,
Yes.
because, well, the student come, I'm sorry, but, well, we all have to eat, right? So
Yes.
it's like more stable because, you know, the student is coming next week, regardless. But regardless of that, I'm just joking. I really love it because you get somebody who like maybe never had a brush in his hands, and then, well, it's pretty good, you know.
Mm.
And now I used to teach kids a lot, and now I kind of mainly switched to adults, but I do take kids. I love kids also. Because this, you know, I mean, kids are actually the best because they're so open, you know.
Yeah.
And they still not feel ashamed, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you ask any given adult, could you please draw me a horse? Oh no, no way I can do it. Just go ask any kid outside the...
draw me a sheep. Yeah.
Exactly. Same thing with the Little Prince, yeah. But adults will say, no, I cannot do that. Well, go ask any kid out there, he'll draw you a sheep. You know, so this is kind of fun. So, and they're really open and they're fun, you know, and by teaching, you actually learn a lot yourself, you know, like what people like. And I mean, I really enjoy doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you said that you have to eat, and I thought about, you know, Gustave Courbet, and said that the artist is a kind of a dog, you know. In the modern world, the artist is looking for attention, looking for somewhere to eat, to sleep, have a roof over your head. Yeah. So what do you think about that kind of thing? That does the artist still remain a kind of a search, a nomad, shall we say, or is he more traditional, shall we say?
Yeah, I am obviously, well, totally not traditional, you know. So, but I don't know. It's just, I mean, it's like, let me show you this. I'll show you my notebook. Hold on a second, I'll get it. Yeah, there's a famous quote, which I'm sure you know, but can you see it?
Yes.
Life is art, art is life. I never separate it. And this is just, that's my journal. I mean, this is,
Yeah.
I mean, I keep it, see all the notes I need, you know, all the sketches, everything is here. And I mean, this is the way I live. There you go.
Yeah.
It pretty much summarizes how, how I look at it.
Yeah.
So it's just part of my life,
Yeah.
And even any, I don't know, it might just, I think actually a lot of artists have a different view on life, because like sometimes, you go somewhere and some normal, totally not art related event, and I can see that, say, like my husband sees it differently. Oh, I don't know, my friend, whoever I'm going with. And I'm always looking, oh, I can do this, or that can be, incorporated, just like, just any normal thing we all do every day, It's kind of, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. Do you
Let's see what we can
ever?
do.
Yeah. Sorry. Do you ever prepare kind of sketches or drawing?
It depends. If obviously if it's something with elements like flowers or dances or whatever, then I do. But if it's the blending thing, I just start with paint.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the something which I do need to draw. But this type of work that I'm doing now with like that minimalism, it's just pretty much you take a brush and just start
Yeah.
going back and forth.
Yeah. So are you thinking about something that when you're painting, something that inspires you that day, or something you read or music you heard?
Yeah, that also, but a lot of times, I guess I am not particularly outdoorsy person, like some people, keep going on some kind of hikes and then see nature. And whenever I do get inspired, but I get a lot of inspiration from photography actually. And I follow a lot of really good photographers, like professional photographers, like on Instagram. I mean, I really get very much inspired because, no, I mean, and I admire those people because they really sit there, the crack of the dawn to just, catch that precious sunrise, which I probably would sleep through. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Sunsets are easier. Sunsets are easier. Yeah, or they go to, I don't know, see the northern lights, and
Yes.
it's not particularly warm outside, you know what I mean? So I do admire those people, and I mean, I get a lot of inspiration from them. So it's a big part of where I get my feeling, So, and I actually know like a couple of photographers that I know. I actually might refer them to you if you would like. I literally just, I definitely need to. I never copy. I mean, I don't see any point to copy a photograph because you can print it as much as you'd like. But it does kind of get in my brain as, oh, this is really good. And then I don't think I can copy, I start getting carried away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I see a photograph and I say, oh, this is really cool. And then, well, it takes me somewhere else, which is good, I think, because we don't need to copy a photograph. We can just have another print.
Yes.
So, but it really just gives me kind of like a kickstart. Oh, this is good. Like sometimes it's just the colors, So like a friend of mine painted something and it just, I don't know. I mean, not painted, took a photograph of something and I said, well, I can never believe we can have such a vanilla colored, sunset or sunrise. I forgot what it was, and then I could get my palette and start mixing. I love actually to mix because I never buy those, you can go to an art store and the colors or in whatever names. Or even if you go, like suppose you want to paint your walls. I mean, I've seen people looking, okay, how many more shades of pink do we really need for the, you know what I mean? And people just, oh, do I need this pink or that pink? And I mean, literally when you put it on your wall, you wouldn't notice the difference. You know those little swatches you get it like.
Yeah.
So I never buy any of that. I just buy the basic, colors, and then I mix it the way I want it. Like I just buy a normal red and normal blue or whatever. And then I just keep adding something until I like it. Like, so I don't think I do buy it sometimes for students who just not into mixing, but for myself, I don't ever buy any kind of purple. I'll just mix my own.
Yeah.
Because then you get something unique. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. Of course. Do you ever, when you teach like the traditional kind of proportional methods of painting, drawing? No.
I actually don't. I mean, sometimes when a student really wants it. So most of my students are already adults, and I think I noticed a trend. Like say people work really hard through college so they can get a good job, that kind of stuff. And they have time for nothing. They just focused on that. And then finally they graduate and then they get a job, a good job, and then, all right, you spend all day at work and then what else do I do? And then they kind of start, I think it happens like maybe, after you're 25, kind of like maybe 25 to 35, that kind of age group. And then it's okay, what else can I do? That even you can just only focus on your career. So they start exploring themselves and they're not trying to be professionals, they just want to explore themselves. And I do believe that, I mean, it's all depends on your goals. I assume if you really want to just do only that maybe the traditional method works. But for people to just kind of have joy and, explore their creative side, I really don't do that unless they want to. I just said, okay, I do show them some certain techniques, so I don't have to invent the wheel, But technically, I give them a whole lot of examples just to look, and I always say, okay, but please let's not copy this. That's just, if you like the picture, that's inspiration for you, like there's some whatever landscape or something. That's just for inspiration, Actually, even same with the kids. I remember teaching kids at school, and I said, okay, and what I don't want guys to see is the blue sky and the green grass. You know what I mean? Just, I would be happy if you give me some purple sky, orange sky, whatever you want, Because kids, I mean, at school especially, I mean, they're so kind of put into some, really stuck in a box, So I kind of never liked it. They even give them, I don't know how it's in your country, but in Russia, I'm sorry, in the US, they even give them separate, there's like a container with a lid. And you stick the brush in the red, and then you stick another brush like in your blue. So basically, well, it's easier for the teacher because less clean up, but they don't even allow them to mix colors, which is, that's not art if you don't mix colors, you know what I mean?
Yes.
But it's obviously much easier in terms of cleanup for a teacher. And I just really, really hate that, So when I was teaching, a class of children, I was just, okay, just be creative. And they're like, Miss Karina, am I allowed to mix? I said, well, you have to, because otherwise what we're gonna do? And I learned that the cleanup is not all that bad because once they're happy, they're more than willing to help clean up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I really, all like my coworkers, well, why are you doing that? I mean, you're gonna just clean up for an hour here. No, they do it themselves. They're just happy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, if you're happy, you're more likely to help, And they do really, really, really nice work. I can like show you sometimes. I'm really impressed what they can do. Just, I mean, they just kind of need to believe in themselves and go for it. So it's kind of the way I look at it, Of course, it's good to have some basic education, And I'm, that's kind of took some classes here and there. But on the other hand, it's totally okay to break the rule. Like, you know, like I suppose the rule of composition is like 2/3, 1/3, you know, of a canvas, right? Well, a lot of really famous masters happily broke that rule, you know, or like this perspective and there's a reverse perspective. Again, I mean, you can break the rule, but I think it's good to know the rule.
Yeah.
And if you choose to break it and it looks good, well, that's fine. You know what I mean? It's not math after all, so we don't have to come to the same number. So it's kind of how I look at it. But I do try very hard to kind of just, well, you know, the rule is like that. So, well, but feel free to break it if you feel like it's, you know what I mean? So that's kind of how I look at it. But it's definitely good to know. And I mean, all of us, even artists who like sell their work or whatever, I mean, we can learn so much from old masters, you know, because it's just the basic, you know. I mean, we all need some kind of base, you know. Because one thing I don't like is like some people with absolutely no experience or nothing, they would just splash. All right, well, kind of okay, Jackson Pollock could do splash painting, so I can do it too, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, you know, they start splashing the paint and, well, it does not look like Jackson Pollock.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then they just, what really is funny, and then they just do it, and then they want to put a price tag on it, and let's just sell it.
Yeah.
It happens, and it's really annoying because this is, well, not Jackson Pollock, you know? So this is kind of like, you know, there's always a line which you just need to kind of balance. You should cross some certain line, I think, you know?
Yeah. You
All of us.
Yeah, of course. Regardless of art, of course. Yeah. To have some kind of a limit or borderline, shall we say.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I want to thank you so much for this lovely conversation. I'm sure I'll go back to your paintings and try to look at the titles and the paintings together and then construct an image in my head.
Well, thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you, Karina. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.